Okay, so for the simple syrup, you're gonna need a small saucepan. I have here a 1-quart saucepan. I am going to add equal parts. So I'm going to add 1 cup of granulated sugar and 1 cup of water. So that's pretty much all for the simple syrup I use for my cakes. I am going to turn this on medium heat. I'm going to give it a little stir. This is just a little stir so all those granulated sugar dissolves well with your water. And you're going to bring this to a boil. As soon as it boils, you're going to turn the heat off. Okay? So let's wait for that stage. So as you can see here, the water turned clear already because the sugar is dissolving. And now what's going to happen next is going to start to boil, and that's when we turn off the heat. Bubbles are starting to form, but we want bubbles all over. So that stage is happening in a few seconds here. This simple syrup I use for my cakes specially. If you want to do other types of syrups, I'm sure you guys can do different flavorings, but I just use it the simple way. Just same amount of sugar, same amount of water. Bring it to a boil and you're good with that. And this is how it looks. I'm going to turn it off and I'm going to remove it from the fire and put it, you could either put it in a bowl, in a heat-proof bowl, or just let it set in your counter like this, away from the fire that you had it on. So when it cools completely, I will show you how I apply it on my cakes. Okay, so here with me I have my simple syrup. As you can see, my simple syrup is nice and cool. I transferred it here to this glass container. And I have 2 examples. One example is on the cake to apply the simple syrup, and one example is for the cupcake. So for the cake, I have shaved off a very thin part of top of the cake. That way the simple syrup gets in there nice and soaked. I grab a big, it's more than a tablespoon, and I start at the edges.
May I help?
Sure, my daughter, which is my trusty assistant, is going to do. She is going to do the cupcake. So you pour it on like this.
So
you can use a little pump, a spray bottle that's just for simple syrup. You can use, there's other bottles especially for these. I just use a spoon, and this has worked for me. Now you want to remember that when you add simple syrup, you're going to let them rest so everything could get nice and soaked. You do not want to put the simple syrup and start assembling your cake with your filling. If possible, put your simple syrup on your cakes and refrigerate them for more than 2 hours so everything could get nice and soaked and everything's nice and fresh. So as you can see here, it's nice and soaked, even layer. That's all you want. Now my daughter's gonna do this cupcake here.
Mom, I also have a suggestion.
And what's your suggestion?
That if you want to do filling, then you can just do it before you add the syrup. Could you do that?
No. Good question though. So you always want to do simple syrup first.
Okay.
Now, as you can see here, this is a very good example that my daughter's doing. Remove the spoon, please. As you can see, the syrup is taking long to soak in. So you want to have a tool like this. This is meant for candies, I believe. But I use it for this. So you see how everything got soaked in right away? You want to make these holes first and then apply your simple syrup. Okay, I've tried it with the fork. It just makes it messier. Probably because the fork is more thicker and these are way thinner. This tool here was meant for candies and I just used it for this.
For years.
For many years.
And I've been using it too.
Okay. Now add a spoon of simple syrup, Genesis.
Again.
And I want you guys to see how well it soaks in when you have the holes.
Yeah, can you please move your hand?
So pour it in, pour it.
And make sure that I get everything.
So you see how everything right away soaks in? And that's it. That's all you want. Now, as you can see here, my simple syrup got a bit messy because of my red velvet cake here. You want to make sure that you don't use it on, like this is vanilla, you don't want to use the simple syrup. Just use one simple syrup for each cake. Don't do this part right here. Okay, but I just wanted to show you guys how I do it and what I do. I hope this video helps. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And see you guys next time for another video on baking. Happy baking, everybody.